So the first thing I noticed on the op.gg was, I mean, picks or whatever, but the actual rank, you've like slowly declined in every
Right.
season, which is the exact opposite of what I'm assuming you want to see. Because like in season four, gold five, season five, gold five again, zero LP. In season six, you actually dipped back down into silver.
Yeah, I actually just started hating the game after.
You're cutting out a lot. Do you have the
Oh.
threshold thing on or?
So I just started like actually not like playing the game. But
Yeah, so you just like weren't enjoying the game at all.
yeah, I just basically after season 5, I just learned how to play new champion.
Okay. Are you currently enjoying the game?
Yeah, it's all right.
It's
I mean,
all
it's a
right.
lot
Yeah,
more
yeah.
fun to play with 5 people.
It's league. It's league. You know, you can't
Yeah.
love it, but
Uh, like I actually used to like playing solo, and not really that much.
yeah, I feel you. And so then this season you decided to join a five-man team.
Right.
Is that like was that just because a friend of you asked you, or like did you want to have a slightly more competitive environment?
Yeah, I just wanted to play with people,
Okay,
basically.
respect. Okay. I'm assuming you want to improve though. The reason why you're still
Yeah,
playing this game, yeah,
of course.
this awful game. No one plays it for pure enjoyment. So, um, so like just in general with like seeing this, it seems more of like obviously it's lacking fundamentals, but also it's more of like a mental thing, which I truly believe in. I think most issues that occur when people stop improving is they don't want to put in the effort necessary in order to improve. They more enjoy the thought of getting better rather than actually getting better. And today we're going to help with that because I realized after coaching the team for a while, it's like been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that
Yeah.
you guys have learned a lot of things, but you guys still aren't really improving. And so to help with that, these sessions are more of how to help you guys help yourselves.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get into the questions. So you said the things that holding you back were CSing, which I'm going to completely agree with. Is just anyone in low elo, their CSing is usually really bad. And if I check through these games, it's like always like below 6. So that's pretty rough. I mean, that's a normal game to go to rank solo, but like 3.9, 4.7, 4.3, 4. Like the CS average is always like super low per minute.
Yeah.
That is actually a pretty easy problem to fix, but I know there's a lot more issues than just CSing, which we'll get into later into the session.
Right.
Um, and it said, let's see, the questions. First one was vision control when trying to take an objective. We'll go over that in the. I already have a Rift kit open for stuff like
Okay.
that.
The main problem that I run into is like we'll try or also be like, hey, let's do this and can we get some awards? And my award's like on a minute cooldown. Right.
Okay, yeah.
Like I just never have my award up when we're trying to do stuff.
Okay. We'll go over that, and then wrong one. How to be useful in bad lane matchups. So that one is more of knowing to just play correctly when you do get a bad matchup, because in low elo, counter picks really don't matter all that much. It's almost always a skill matchup. Obviously, it's going to be easier for one person, but the other person that countered you doesn't know how to abuse it enough to the point where it actually matters. You feel me?
Right.
You can
Yeah.
always play around it. Um, and then last one was how to keep up in lane after flashing to level 2 gank. So I'm assuming that means, like, let's say they're playing Jarvan, he goes straight to mid lane after his first buff, and
Yeah.
then you're forced to flash out, and then because your flash is down, you're forced to play safe.
Right. I have like no lane pressure for the next 5.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, for sure. When you have flash, when your flash is down, it gets rough. Okay, so first, I'm gonna go into some the mental help and how to actually improve by yourself without having. I mean, you're still gonna need outside help and stuff like that, but just things to work on to actually improve into the future. Um, it's because this seems pretty consistent over this is 5 years. And you're still currently silver, which, I mean, you did better than season 7 already in this season. But whenever someone is consistently staying at one rank, either high or low elo, that just means that they're not recognizing what's happening to improve.
Right.
And so an easy way to do that is to make mistakes. And that's going to happen a lot in low elo. But this is where it really comes important is to improve is when you make a mistake, you can't make that exact same mistake again. Or like you have to recognize what caused that mistake and then how to not let that happen again, right?
Okay.
And so like let's say I mean I play top lane a lot when it comes to solo laning, and let's say you're playing against a Garen, and let's say Garen hits 6 before you, flash Q ult you, and you die. If you
Right.
ever go against a Garen again, you should, in your mind, be keeping track of his XP in relation to yours, and make sure that you don't let him hit 6 before you again, and let him flash Q ult you again. You should know this now because it happened once already. Just keep that in mind. Like next time I should be at least cognizant that he's probably going to go for something aggressive if he hits 6 before me. And that's just how it's going to happen with like pretty much every matchup, even mid lane. Something happens, like something bad happens, realize or recognize why it went bad, and then make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's just more of obviously you still want outside help to figure out how to correctly play around those things, but even you yourself can probably figure out the immediate cause and effect of what actually killed you or what actually shoved you out of lane.
Right.
Okay. So let's get into these questions. So, and then for another thing for mental is, I would recommend either A, getting a Smurf and don't care about elo at all, just purely practice to improve, not for winning. And then also
Okay.
B is actually it's like a B and C. So B is one, which is why I'm here, is find an outside source that can help you with improving. And then another important one that I'm pretty sure, I mean, you guys do it some, but not to the extent that you should, and that's just 1v1ing friends. You
Okay.
ideally you want to 1v1 someone that's better than you, so that you have something to gain from it. Or like it's easier if you go against someone that's worse than you, you beat them, you don't really learn that much, right? Um,
Right.
and that no one really does that enough in this team, and I wish they would do more of it because that helps out a lot with your fundamentals, which I'll go over later is by far the most important thing in low elo. Fundamentals completely decides low elo games. I mean, some games can get cheesed out by certain strats, but a player who has much more solid fundamentals than someone who has like just purely good mechanics or like combos, like the fundamentals win every single time. And so
Okay.
that's what this session is going to be mostly based off of is fundamentals and how to improve them. And so the very first one was the CS. For CSing, just go into custom games, practice last hitting, figure out, get used to how much damage your autos do, and then try to start memorizing the actual physical health bar of the minions and at what point will an auto attack kill them.
Right.
And because you're mid lane, it is kind of rough because casters autos are like a joke unless you're playing like Orianna. Like
Yeah.
LeBlanc autos and Arya autos are really hard to CS with just auto attacking. So you want to practice those, and then once you get good with those, you get good on everyone. You feel me?
Yeah.
So CS is really easy. Is just go into a custom game and practice last hitting, get used to it, get so used to it that you can do it without having to think too hard about it. Since once it becomes second nature and you don't have to like even think about it, that's when you can start improving on other things. You want to keep branching out. You want to get comfortable with something, and then once you're comfortable, add one more task on top of it, and then once you get comfortable doing 2 tasks, you add a third task, and so forth, until you can do everything at a pretty decent rate.
Okay.
So for CS, just custom games, Ari or LeBlanc, practice last hitting with those. That one's easy to fix. I'd recommend doing it like 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Okay.
And now we can go into the vision control and then lane matchups, and then how to keep up. And pretty much, this question's worded a bit weirdly, and I think it should have been worded how to not get cheese level 2, because
Right.
you shouldn't
So
have
that's
to
the
flash
underlying
early
problem.
on. Yeah, exactly. That's what's causing it to happen. Okay, so let's go into the Rift thing right here. Let me zoom in. There we go. Okay, and you see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so vision control, I'll try and take objective. We'll do that one first. So let's say the first dragon's kind of weird. We'll say second dragon, right? The second dragon is spawning. Their jungler is clearing his blue. Your jungler is trying to go into pit, and let's just say it's even bot lane, right?
Okay.
You should recognize dragon timer that it's coming up soon, right? And ideally what you'd want to do is try to shove in the wave early so that you can rotate to dragon pit easily without losing any XP. Because if they try to match you, they get behind. So
Right.
if they don't want to get behind, they have to alleviate dragon pressure. That's the first thing. Whenever you try to rotate to any objective, always try to push out waves if you can. Some champions, like let's say you're going against an Ari, won't work out too well. If you try to push it, she'll just throw like one Q and it instant clears the entire wave. That's the best you could have done, and then we'll go into those matchups, or like what happens in those scenarios. So let's say in this current one, right? Let's say you were able to push him in, because most people in low elo don't know wave control. So let's say like you had a slow push and you crash it. When you start going into dragon, you want to go with your jungler. You don't want to just face check this bush, because like let's say Lee Sin's here, you're gonna get like just burst
Right.
out before the fight even happens. What you're gonna want to do is move up with the jungler, move with them, so that you don't get one shot if there's no vision. And some good places to ward before a dragon is green ward right here, and green ward like in this bush, or even like in this
Okay.
bush. You just want to get slightly deep vision into their jungle, just so you can see them approaching. For counter vision, you usually want pink ward inside of pit to make sure they don't have any immediate vision on the objective. And then normally bot lane would have like some pinks in here, just for extra vision control, just so if they ever try to rotate, they won't get spotted. Okay, so as a mid laner, this ward's the easiest for sure, is getting this pathway right here. So when the jungler moves into dragon, you can ward this bush, but the bush gives so little vision that it's kind of rough. Another good control ward is also in Pixel. Pixels, if you have a pink ward as a mid laner, I'd recommend putting it in Pixel. Jarvan, I see the J. Jungle or support should be the ones really pink warding this. But mid lane, your pink ward in here is really good for when you rotate to the objective.
Okay.
And then normally mid lane takes this ward, support can take this ward, and this one's usually down before the objective starts. Even just these two are fine. You don't need this ward. That's a good deep ward in general. It just happens to come in handy when dragon comes up. And that's pretty much it. But I remember you mentioned like someone calls for a dragon when you don't have a ward available.
Yeah.
So in those
That's
cases, ideally you don't want to force an objective if the game is in a completely neutral state. So if you guys don't have vision, one person can ward dragon, and then you can either wait for good vision development or wait until you get a pick. Because if mid lane is perfectly even and bot lane is perfectly even, and you try to force a dragon, unless your comp allows for it, it's just a 50-50 risk that you're taking if you don't have any vision control. But like let's say a bot has prio, then it's no longer a neutral. And so even if you don't have vision, if they also don't have vision, then you should come out on top because bot can rotate more freely.
Okay.
So in those cases where you don't have vision, develop an advantage somewhere else. Push in mid, maybe look for a pick on their jungler if he comes up like here to check dragon. You guys can just collapse on him. If you kill a jungler, then dragon's really secured for you guys. You never just want to
Right.
force an objective off of nothing. You usually want something to happen first and then go into an objective. Like let's say you're mid, you have a freeze. Jungler ganks mid, you guys kill them, mid's gone. Now you have numbers advantage. Even if you don't have vision, you can still go in for a dragon play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Useful in bad lane matches. We'll go over that in the VOD review. I already have a game chosen. It was the Viktor into Morgana. Because in bad lane matchups, you just have to play around them. You should never be useless, pretty much.
Right.
Even if it's a bad matchup, if they're supposed to beat you, going even is in your favor most of the time. Because that means they're not using whatever advantage they have to their extent to be able to gain an advantage. So let's say a big one's like Teemo into Nasus, right?
Yeah.
Teemo destroys Nasus. But if Nasus doesn't get killed in lane, doesn't get pressured off the CS, then the Teemo pick was useless. If Nasus can still stack, even if it's at a slower rate, if he's still stacking and not dying in lane, then he wins. Teemo didn't abuse the counter matchup like enough to actually being worth it. And we'll go over that in later down the road. So, do you have any questions right now? Any other concerns that you want to go over before we go into a VOD review?
No, not right now.
Okay. So, here's the game. You guys won, thankfully. Good job. And
Yeah, I got carried pretty hard.
that's fine. And then this is why I recommend a Smurf account. So because when you're on a Smurf account, you don't have a single care in the world about your MMR or your ELO or your LP gain. And at the end of the day, you don't care about winning or losing. You can solely focus on playing to improve. You can make mistakes and not have to worry about the losing, like the repercussions of making those mistakes. And once you do that, you can really start improving as a player, getting rid of all the ranking. Because a lot of times, players play too safe, or they don't try new things, and they'll stick with their same playstyle because they're too scared of changing something. Because they're worried that if they do something new and it fails, that they're going to lose the game. So that's why I always recommend getting a Smurf account to really like test things and just like stress testing, or like trying out new things, or playing a different playstyle. So as we go into this match specifically, level 1, it's kind of even. Morgana Snare compared to Lux Snare, both are pretty good. Either team could really invade right here. Whoever 5 stacks harder though wins. I'm just gonna skip this though. I'm gonna just go straight into lane. Let me put the manual. No, not directed. Okay. So, in this matchup, you should win this pretty hard actually, because you can trade through minions and she can't. So all you have to do is abuse positioning in lane, and you should win this fairly easy. Then also let me put on blue side so you don't have to. Oh, you guys had a ward. That's beautiful. First thing I told you earlier is ward here. I mean, for like the very first ward, I mean, you guys do have vision here. Even still, you can drop a ward right here, and this ward is like huge. Let me like right there, because not only does it show raptor camp, it also shows the bush. And when the jungler pass into their top side after clearing their bot side, you can see them there, and then once you see that, you can play however you want in lane. Let's go back. So also at 130, you want to ward pixel or here. Recommend here though. Even like just this middle part is fine. You never like already your ward. I'm assuming you didn't use it. Yeah, like right now, you could use it now to develop early game vision. But right now,
Okay.
technically speaking, you see them starting blue, so you could hold off on it if you wanted to. But in most games, you just want to exactly at 130, just place up top vision and then play top side. So you want to play at the top pocket, which you currently are, which is good. Because then if Pantheon tries to come in, he has to walk through here. And if he walks in through here, you see him when he catches here, you can just walk back. Even if he stuns you like here, they really can't do much to you. In worst case, I mean, you can flash out, but as long as you play top pocket, it gives you so much time to respond to bot side ganks. Okay. So in this matchup, in the early game, um, she probably starts W. Yeah, most do. Yeah. A really easy way to punish a Morgana that starts W is first, you can walk up. You actually want to walk up. You want to be playing about here. The reason why you
Okay.
want to be playing this pocket, I'll of course give you the option to answer first before I tell you. And so, why do you think you should be playing aggressively here? And
You can just hit her if she tries to W the back wave.
yes, you can hit her, but if you're walking right here and being aggressive, where do you think she's gonna drop pool?
Um, she's either going to drop, well, can't, well, walk up to the back wave, so she's going to drop it right on the melee.
Yep, she's gonna drop W right here. And why is this really good for you? Baiting out.
Because it doesn't, like, one-shot the, she doesn't just auto hard push the wave in.
Yeah, so when you walk up here and you pressure an E onto her, right? Um, she has one thing to do. One, back off or try to dodge it. Or two, which most low elo people will do, is they're gonna like freak out for a second. They're like, oh man, he's walking up. She's thinking I'm gonna punish him. I'm gonna drop a pool right here, make him take like 10 damage, and then he has to back off, right? And so you walk up, you force her to use pool, and then you immediately walk out. And now that pool is gonna slow push the wave into you, which is what you want. You wanna, if you can keep a freeze over here, you have so much pressure on this Morgana, and you're so safe from ganks. You can just start taking good trades and forcing her off of CS.
Okay.
Because the only CS tools she has is W and Q. Q is, if she uses a Q to hit a minion, you kill her. If she uses W to hit a minion, pushes back into you, and you can always trade it into her. So play up, force a W, and against a Morgana, her W cost a ton. Like let's see, level 1, 70. That's at level 1. So she's gonna like get chunked down to like here on mana after casting it once. I'm gonna say this a lot in future sessions. It's called attacking their mana pool. You walking here and forcing her to use pool, you're trading your health as a resource for their mana. Because once Morgana is like down to like here on mana, as long as you're even a little bit up on mana, you can play for free. She can't punish you. You can trade as much as you want. And so you want to pressure their mana pool and try to make them waste it. That's why like Rise and Orianna are so abusable in the early game, is because after they use their like combo like 3 or 4 times, they're completely out of mana. And then that's when you can look to punish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, jeez. But even like right here, she W's the wave, even when you're not pressuring her, so she's already like just wasting mana and putting her lane state in a spot that she doesn't want it. And all you should do is just let it push. Like right now, you keep auto attacking. I think you missed the minion too. But you don't want to just
Right.
keep permanently auto attacking. You just want to let it slowly push into you and just last it right now. There's no reason to auto minion 3 or 4 times in this matchup. You getting 2 first isn't something you need to pressure against a Morgana.
Okay.
If some matchups, like in some matchups, hitting 2 first can be like, let's say Yasuo. Yasuo, the second he hits 2, the enemy laner has to back out because Yasuo is scary. Technically, his 3 is better with Windwall, but you know. His dash is what allows him to pressure trades and all-ins early on, which is he's really good at. So in that matchup, Yasuo would want to play aggressively and try to push out a bit faster, so he hits 2 first. In this matchup, you take Q, which yeah, that helps, but you don't need your Q, right?
Right.
You can slow down the game a bit and just take it easy, develop a freeze, and then you just destroy her later on. You don't. There's no immediate need to gain level 2, so there's no need to push the wave. Yep, she W's again. E again. You don't need to E through the minions here. You can just E her because you're trying to allow the wave to slow push into you so that you have a better lane state. Unfortunately,
Okay.
it doesn't connect, but that's fine. She's still just spamming W. She has no idea what she's doing. She's just spamming W. She's already like almost at half mana. She's like 3/4 right now. And a couple more of those, she'll be out of mana, and then you can just lay it down on her, bro. Again, again, you want to be positioned aggressively here, so it forces her to use W on the wave. Because
Okay. So just
if she wasn't just blindly using W on waves, she has no need to. But if you play up and aggressive in the wave to alleviate that pressure of you pressuring E's on her or Q's, she has to use W there, and then, well, she technically doesn't have to, but in her head she has to. And then you just back off and let it push into you, and you waste her her mana. Like it's not yep, another wasted W. Again, you're still auto-attacking, you just want to let the wave push into you. There's no need to be constantly autoing. And yeah, we try to you just try to hit Morgana so that you can pressure her. Also, you took Cleanse in this matchup. You really don't
because
need to into
I
Morgana.
took it because the Morgana and Pantheon combo.
Pantheon, yeah, no, okay, yeah, so this for sure works better into the late game. So, I think it's actually okay then, yeah, with Pantheon Riven. But in future cases, yeah. If it's just a Morgana, it's so easy to play around her Q. Yep, good E, good job. Yep, she wastes W again. She wastes Q again. So this is when you should realize she's really bad. Like, she's really bad. She's just spamming the keyboard and praying it'll win her the game. So all you have to do now is play around that. She's freaking out. She's just spamming spells over and over. Let her keep doing that. Then when she's low on, like when she's like out of mana, then that's when you can really start pressuring her, and that's when she's forced in a really bad spot. Because if she has no mana, so let's say the wave's here, right?
Yeah.
And she's here, right? And she has no mana. What can she do?
Nothing.
Exactly. She can't do anything. If she even looks at CS, you're just gonna go like, boom, just give it to him, right? And she's just gonna like just drop down in health. And the good thing is you're playing Viktor. What happens if she has no mana, and because she has no mana, she can't trade. She loses health and she's low on health. She can't stay in lane right now, right? If she was low, so she has to back off. She has to go recall. When she recalls, Viktor, being Viktor, can drop down an E, push the wave pretty quickly, and then you shove it into turret. She loses a wave. You get an XP lead, and then that develops an even better snowball for you, right?
Right.
Obviously, you don't have to think about all this stuff immediately as soon as the lane starts, but right now you should immediately be thinking attack mana. You just want to keep making her waste mana. That's all you should be. That's all you really need to think about right now. You can ignore the rest. Just think freeze and mana. You want to simplify. Don't even worry about trades. Don't worry about. I mean, right now you're in a good spot. You pretty much can't get ganked. I mean, you should still be checking the map and stuff, but don't worry about all the complicated stuff. Right now, you're letting her make the mistakes on her own because she already showed you that she's willing to make them.
Okay.
And that's called range. Range is this first of all physical range, like your auto attack range. But range is testing your opponents to see what you can get away with, pretty much. So because you've seen her already make these mistakes, you can assume that she's going to keep making them, and you should play around that. Yep. So let's rewind. Once these two die, yeah, right here, you should already recognize this looks pretty rip. Like, this wave is getting pretty scary now.
Right.
Earlier when the second wave crashed, or when like a wave or two before this, you should have seen that it's starting to build up, and that's when you want to start trimming the wave. You want to pick off like just only 2 or 3 minions, just so you can save the other 3 or 4, and then you can get like a freeze again. But when you let it snowball to a wave this big, it's gonna crash, and then now you actually can't hold the freeze. So it's just like you didn't trim the wave enough off of last wave, because now you can't hold. You'll take too much damage if you try to hold the wave. Yeah, now you just gotta try to pick up as much CS as you can. Yep. Now we're back in lane. And because you had to use those abilities, now you guys are about even on mana, and you no longer have the advantage. And again, you're just pushing the wave again. You only want to purely last hit right now.
Okay.
The good thing is, she's bad. She'll probably W in a couple seconds and give you a freeze again. But you shouldn't just offer it like that. Okay. Let's rewind. You also haven't warded once this game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. You still had 0 ward score. Your second ward would be coming up by now. And you see that his red's taken, like on the mini map. So you know he's cleared his top side. Now that he's cleared his bot side, he went into, you knew, so jungle pathing. Jungle tracking is really important, and if you can get good at it, you can never be ganked pretty much. So, you knew he started blue buff, he went into wolves, into raptors, and then you see that his red is down, right? He didn't gank top, and he's not contesting scuttle, so we can assume he recalled. So he's back in base. Where is he going to go? Out of base.
Bot side.
Correct. So you should assume he's going to be in his bot side stuff. Let's put on the fog of war. Oh my god. He should be either in base or heading into bot side right now. Yeah, he's in his bot side right now. If your bot line had better warding, or if you warded Pixel, you would see him doing scuttle. But unfortunately no one warded it, so it gets taken. Let's go back to red. Or blue side, jeez. So you should know at this point that Pantheon's bot side, or at least should be. So, and also Nocturne's top side. So even if you had no idea where Pantheon was, you should play top side.
Right.
But instead you're holding the bottom. You're playing bottom pocket. You move upwards, let's see. Still kind of hovering the bot side a bit. Going to mid. Okay, right there. Let's rewind. Okay, so right now you're actually playing top side pretty well. Okay, you see him. You start working back. You could argue running up is better here. It's because Morg is in such a bad spot. Because Morgana is way down here, and you know topside can't kill you, right? Like, they're all topside right now. Your team, no one's up there, right? So, you know that topside can't come down into this bush, and you know bot side's bot. So, there's no one in here. There's no risk of running up right now. Pantheon, it's much harder for him to go all the way over to here, then
Then
she'll
it's
stay
for him
here.
to cut me off.
Yeah. And if Morg was good, Morgana should have been playing top pocket, because if you're trying to aggressively pressure a gank, you want to play opposite side of your jungler. If you're trying to force a gank, because if Morgana plays here, even before this even happens, before even Pantheon shows up, you yourself are forced to play here because of her binding. If you stand here, they know they're just gonna eat her Q. I mean, you can try to dodge it, but it's like an unnecessary risk. And you want to play opposites because then because you can poke through wave, she can't. So it's actually in your advantage. So if she played top pocket, she would kind of force you into the bottom pocket, which makes Pantheon easy. But because she's bad, she plays bottom side. She's blind. She's nowhere near you right now. You have a free getaway right now because she made the mistake of going downwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And this is when, vice versa, if you are the Morgana, you should keep this in mind next time. Um, if you have something really huge to pressure, like Morgana Q, you should be playing aggressively up here. Even if you take a Q, or even if Viktor stuns you, like, it doesn't matter. Viktor would get in such a bad spot now for Pantheon, you know?
Right.
But yeah. In this case, I would say because both of them are playing really far down the lane, you should just walk upwards. And there's no one going to cut you off. You see everyone on the map, there's no risk. You walk back, he stuns. You eat the Q. Oh, okay, so you live, right? Okay.
Yeah, I live.
Even
But I
with these circumstances of already being in a bad spot and already walking the wrong way, you still could have played this a lot better. So he stuns you.
right.
That's fine. You're still in a good spot though. She can't Q yet, right? And then right here, cleanse.
You're right. Yeah, my cleanse was really late.
Yeah, you wait out the entire duration, and then you cleanse. Well, luckily you get out because that Pantheon Q probably should have hit you, but it's whatever. But yeah, so if you are gonna take cleanse, just make sure you're using it smartly. Like smartly. Make sure you're being efficient with it. And also, map awareness probably would have been able to save you, because a lot of
Just
times in mid
patience,
lane you
yes.
don't want to roam upwards because it's dangerous, but in this case it wasn't. And running backwards is actually scarier than running up. But hey, you know what's even better? None of this could happen if the wave is right here. Right where you want it. Because then you can play here. And if you're here, Pantheon can't do anything. Because the second he pops up here, right? Even if you wait, even if you let him get all the way to like here, you walk back. Even if even if you only make it like this far, because let's say let's just assume you're playing on like 500 ping, and you only make it that far, he already can't dive. Like he's already pressured out of a dive. And that's where having a better lane state comes into your advantage, and not like right here, your flash at level 2. This is probably a big issue of it. You're not. I mean, you don't always want to freeze, but in this case, freezing
Right.
is for sure the right move, and it wasn't implemented, and that let Pantheon go. Because also in this replay, we're going to be going over mostly laning stuff and mostly just fundamentals because that's what matters more. Like I'm earlier you mentioned like roaming and stuff like that. Don't even worry about roaming just yet because this comes first. This is way more important than anything else right now. Is CSing, trading, and wave management. Just those three things can easily get you to platinum. Even if you never roam, even if you don't do any big brain plays, even if you don't like do anything, right? Just those three alone, if you can get good with them, you're already a better player than a huge amount of players, you know?
Okay.
The fundamentals, like, I'm gonna make like a bar, right? Here's a bar, right? And let's say filling up the bar means challenger, right? And here are some different blocks you can use to fill up the bar, right? So you can like place these blocks to fill it in. Which one would you want which one do you want to maximize efficiency?
Uh, the really big one.
Yes, and this right here is the fundamentals, the big F. The fundamentals attributes to the most of what's going to get you higher rank. And this stuff is what challengers want, because they already have all these big blocks. There's no more big blocks available. They're like capped out like here, right? The high diamond master players, and they want to get
Right.
this little extra piece. That's when you start worrying about the little stuff, like the very specific things. That's when actual mechanics come into play. That's when actual technique. I mean, it's more of a fundamental thing, but even with like minions and stuff like that, like that's when the really small stuff that a lot of low elo players focus more on comes into play. You don't need that yet. What you want to get is this big bar, and that's with fundamentals. You want to simplify the game right now, pretty much. Does that does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also once you get good core fundamentals, then you start layering stuff on top of it. Mechanics come later. Fundamentals come first. She pushes, she denies you a cannon. And look at that, she actually played it right. Good job, Morgana. She knew to shove in the wave. And she denied you a cannon. Now she gets her free recall. Good job, Morgana. That's the one good thing she's done all game. And now right here, so you could have this was a great time to punish. That wasn't taken. Let's bring it back. When she leaves like this, right? Let's go even one more further. Right. First of all, you see that she's already low on mana, right? Even more importantly, she wants to recall right now because you have items she doesn't. You came back with Dark Seal and a Corrupting Potion. She only has D-Blade or D-Ring. So you have a lot more sustain and about equal mana, or AP. And your actual prototype thing is scary, right? So right now, you're ahead in items. To stop that from happening, she wants to recall and get her own items. And so she can actually get an item advantage on you. So when you see her walking back like this, right? Don't let it go unpunished. You know that she's trying to reset. A good way to punish this is, one, you can walk up and actually try to physically stop the recall. But because you have no vision and you're not sure where Pantheon is, that's probably not a good idea. You could do it, but it's just risky, right? So instead, what you can do is you can walk up to about here, and you can actually develop a slow push into your way, like into your tower, so that you can develop a freeze again. Either that, or
Okay.
vice versa. If Nocturne pings for this dragon and you guys want to make a dragon play, then you can actually start getting a slow push mid lane that Morgana can't ignore for dragon. In solo queue, I'd recommend just freezing, because a coordinated dragon is really rough in low elo. It's painful to watch. Most dragons don't go contested until like 10 minutes in, which is rough. But so right here, you can either you have complete control of the wave, and you don't do anything with it. You don't develop a slow push. You don't let it push into you. You just let it completely reset, which isn't a punish. You let her recall for free. She doesn't miss anything from recalling. What you could have done was hold this minion up with you. You walk forward. You hold the wave like about here. You can do it even more aggressively like here. You pull minion aggro. You pull it downwards, and you come back this way. And now when the wave collides, it collides slightly on their side, which you all already know is going to be a slow push into you, right? I'm assuming you know the rule.
Yeah.
If you have 6 minions and 6 minions, whoever side it's on will go in the opposite direction. So if it's
Right.
closer to her tower, it'll slow push into you. Yeah. So you let the wave collide here, pushes into you, you can develop another freeze. And that's your punish for her resetting right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you know they're resetting, you have to develop something, anything. Even if it's just as something as a freeze. You can't let it go unpunished. Because when you do, then you fall behind. Yeah, because now the wave just does a full reset. Looks like you're going to slow push it out. Actually, Victor, Victor, you do enough damage now to actually, you could probably shove in like this, exactly, yeah. So I think it's actually a good play right here. To shove in to make sure that she misses the wave, and then it's going to slow push into. I always doubt Victor's early game damage, but it's disgusting. His E clears wave so well. And again, you want to trim the wave. So you E'd at a weird angle. You should have E'd the entire wave pretty much. Because now you can't hold the wave again, and you're forced to farm under turret again. Or you try to hold it. You can't hold this wave.
Yeah, I'm
It's way
pretty
too
sure I
many
just like
minions.
die here.
And she has 6 also. You can't be
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
That's just
I mean,
greedy. Yeah. So I'm not gonna go too deep into it. You know this. I'm just gonna say it was like a one-time thing. If there's 6 and you're 5, and the wave's this big, you can't hold it there, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you can see that obviously. And that's actually at a really bad time too, because now your team wants to do dragon. Luckily, Morgana's blind. She has no idea what's happening, so she actually doesn't even rotate to help with the contest. And now you lose all these minions because of that one death. At the end of the day, try to do what doesn't kill you. Like, if you can do something that can save you, then do it. Like, dying is by far the worst thing that can happen to you in lane. Because, let's say you give up minions because they're being aggressive, right? Like, let's say they're zoning you out of the wave. You would rather them zone you out of gold than dying. Because, let's say they zone you out of gold, you're still getting XP, you're still keeping up in level, and you're not going to fall too far behind. You'll fall behind in gold, but that's bad, but it's not a huge issue. While if you're like, oh man, I can't fall behind, and you try to CS and they kill you, now it gets really bad. You lose the minions anyway, and on top of that, you're losing XP and probably plates, right? And you gave him a kill in gold. So, you wanna. Dying is just the worst thing that can possibly happen to you in lane. So, don't. I know it sounds dumb, but don't die. Like, don't put yourself like that. Like, when you walk up and try to hold a wave in front of a level 6 Morgana, probably not the best idea,
No.
Again, also, have you warded once this game? You warded twice. But again, you could have probably bought a pink ward on that last back, and you could have put pink ward right here. When you do put pink wards, put them on your side when you pink ward these bushes, just so the enemy has to overextend in order to clear it, right? If you put it here, you have to be the one to overextend if they try to clear it, like if they go over the wall, But yeah, just pink ward that bush there. So if you had a control ward, put it there. Your green ward, right here, and then you're fine for the rest of the game, or until it expires. Like, you're pretty much ungankable at that point. Only thing that could gank you is Pantheon ult, which then you can play around. You can W on the spear when he jumps in, and then it gives you time to back up. And you have cleanse, so you can it's called Captain Jacking. It's like a Captain Jack is when you cleanse it the second it happens. You can just Captain Jack the Pantheon stun, and then you're out free. You should hard shove this. Let's see if you do. Okay, that's fine. That's good enough. But the reason why is because she's not in lane, and the waves up. It almost crashed. When it's standing right outside a turret and they're not in lane, if it's not going to slow push into you, which in that case it wasn't, just fast shove and deny more minions. Because if you E'd the wave and cleared it faster, she would have lost like an extra 2 or 3 minions. And you do the aggressive ward. I would say you're not really in a spot to be doing the aggressive ward. I'd say because of how lack of vision your team has on the map, I would say it'd be more worthwhile to use your ward defensively than doing this. If you're winning and the enemy jungler is behind, I would say yeah, technically he is behind, but it's still Pantheon, he's kind of scary. If you're stomping her, I would say oh yeah, do that, destroy her. But because you're playing on like the back pedal right now, you're not the one pressuring. You're the one getting pressured. I would say that's kind of a useless ward right now. Ooh, got lucky. It didn't cancel reset. Wait, Pantheon DC? Okay.
I don't think this was a 45. I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's fine. She again, she knows. Yeah, she knows. Oh, he reset. This is her punish on your reset. She subs in. You lose four. You lose four minions. And at this point, this is where mana becomes slightly less valuable because you get more
Right.
of it, right? Yeah, like you don't go as quickly. This is when you want to play diagonal of her. If she plays bot side, which she is, you play top pocket, you can E through and hit her, right? Because what's she gonna do? Q gets body blocked. So you just want to keep lasering her or Qing her and start to whittle her down to the point where Nocturne, who is 6 now, can get a free kill. Because I mean, like most of this lane, you haven't pressured her at all with any of your abilities. Like you've barely been poking her when you should be the one driving this lane.
Okay.
Yep, this is good. You could have committed to that a bit harder. And then let's see. You should be going balls to the wall aggressive right here, because everything's on cooldown. She just used her entire combo. When she uses it, like she QW'd and E'd right there. You should be pressuring her because what she literally can't do anything to you right now. And you still have abilities up. All of them are up, right? Except for the stun. That's just learning to punish cooldowns, which you should always be doing in every game. Like for her main ability is her Q. If she Qs, you're free to play as aggressive as you want,
Just,
pretty much.
yeah, run at her.
Yeah. Because worst case, she ults you and you can QSS it or cleanse it. And then now she's down in ulti. You know, you're good. Eat the snare. That's fine. Nocturne comes in. That was a rip. It was close. That was just if you didn't get snared there, you probably could have followed up a lot better. That's just more of a micro thing on dodging. Because Morgana Qs are really easy to dodge. They really are. Especially when they're like that far range. Like if she goes like max range Qs, because it moves so slowly, and because it's just a 1v1. And in bot lane it's different. You know, Morgana support is different because there's two people you have to worry about. So normally one of them can zone you into a Q or something, or can lock you down into a Q. And a 1v1 like this, you should pretty much never get Q'd by her. You can always sidestep it. Unless Pantheon's in the lane, then, you know, it's different. But until then. So, something important just happened. And I'll show you what it is. Why is that important?
Is there Q's on cooldown?
Yes, but something more macro. What does that tell you?
There's that bush is warded.
Correct. So now you know the bush is warded. So what can you assume if this bush is warded about this bush?
It's not warded.
Correct. And so that's when this is more, again, in solo queue you have to type and ping a lot more to convey information because you can't expect them to know it themselves. This is when you can tell Nocturne, hey, top side's not warded, gank from top, you know? And even now, you know, later in the future, you shouldn't be running through this bush because they have vision. You know? But just keep in mind that this is good. You should have been playing aggressive like that the entire lane. Not when nothing's happening.
Right.
Nocturnal's Folly does this thing. Yep, okay. Morgana rotates. So, this is going to be in every mid lane, right? You have vision, you see her rotating. You're stuck catching a wave, right? So that was her thing. She pushed out so that she could roam. You see her? She completely commits to this, right? You know that she's at least in this bush. What can you do as a punish into this.
Just hard shove. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I wish every mid laner in low elo could be like this, bro. Mid laners, even in high elo, bro, they don't get much better. Um, a huge misconception you see a lot in low elo is, you see it a ton. Let's say Morgana shows up on this ward right here, right? Like
Yeah.
way down here. The mid laner in low elo, it's like, oh man, Morgana's bot lane. I have to go help him. And then Path's bot. They just threw lane and possibly the game with that. Like, that's the most troll thing you can do. If a fight is really going to last that long, and if you are really that important for the fight to go in your favor, then sometimes, yes, rotating is the correct choice here. But in most cases, like, she's so first of all, she herself is going to be late to the fight, and she's useless. Second of all, you rotating after her is kind of the same thing. You're going to rotate
Right.
after the fight ends, right? So the best thing that you can do is just shove mid, deny her a wave, and then take turret plating. And then they get punished severely, and that's how you develop a lane advantage. And then exactly, I see all these pings. Beautiful. In solo queue, spam it. Not only do you want, like, missing pinging your own lane means nothing. They don't check the map. They don't see the ping. So I like that you're doing this. You're pinging where she is. Even better is you can ping danger on top of them, so that they know, so that they're forced to see it, because you know everyone plays with lock camera down here. So you force them to see your pings. Yep. Look at this. Yep. Yep. Look at, beautiful. I want to see that every single game. Okay. Yep. She comes back up. You back off. She misses the wave. Magnificent. I don't know what you're doing up here. Did you grab a plant?
I grabbed the honey
Okay.
thing. That's what I had.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. You could have held that. If it's only 3 minions, you can hold it, and you can cure this one and hold it, and then develop a freeze again. Unless like, if you're trying to recall. Yeah, you do want to reset here. Yeah, so this is fine. Harsha. Again, don't be aggressive warding, and you're already behind.
Right.
This is just opening ganks. And then also, when you shove out, you could have helped Nocturne. And then reset. Because top lane reset. I mean, Nocturne shouldn't be doing this right now, because mid and top both recalled. He got lucky that they didn't have vision. That was a really risky play from Nocturne. Yep, she's missing. Shove. Yep, rift. Good stuff. Okay. What happened here? Yep, Nocturne comes to mid. You spawn Rift Herald. You start attacking. This is when, again, this word could have been used better. You could, because in this case,
Right.
you actually do want to ward bot side here. And then also, just in general, make sure you never ward when you reset, because it's so much wasted time. Because you're not in lane. Like, why do you need, like, let's say you correctly place the ward in pixel, right? Instead of doing this aggressive lane ward. Let's say you warded pixel and then reset. That's like 30 seconds of wasted vision, because you're not in lane. It doesn't help you out at all. You reset, go to lane, then ward, and then start killing minions. So that it's not just so, because if you ward, reset, and go back to lane, the ward's like halfway done at that point.
The main reason I dropped that ward in particular was just to catch the Morgana roaming. I could see like which way she's going.
You don't really need to in this matchup.
Okay.
Again, you just like, it helps, but it's not like a necessity. It's, again, you want to be warding defensively in this matchup. Or not in the matchup, but in the way the lane played out.
Right.
Oh, you hate to see it. Oh wait. Did you do it right? I swear it looked like you cleansed and then got stunned. There's the ulti. weird.
Yep.
It makes the animation afterwards where you don't get stunned for like any duration.
When you cleanse, you have a. It gives you
Oh,
a
that's right.
buff for like
Yeah, no,
speed
you're right.
reduction.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so you could have cleansed that a bit better, but I mean it's fine. You could
Yeah.
have, I think. Phantom comes in. That's just
Yep.
you could have sidestepped that easy. Knocked triggers there. In this specific sidestep, it's easy for you also because of Nocturne. You guys watch this. Right. Nocturne's going in. See Pantheon. You should immediately be just like
You
moving
just
upwards.
walk towards Nocturne.
Even if you wait, even here at this point, you still have time. It's just such a slow projectile. You still could have moved up. Yeah. Also, Nocturne should have ulted earlier, but that's you can't control that. You only want to focus on
Right.
what you can control. There's no point in critiquing other players in your games if you have no control over it. It's another good mental to have in game is only worry about yourself. Don't worry about what's happening at other. I mean, you want to be watching for roams, but like you don't want to worry about other players. You don't want to backseat game their lane. Good ward, bad time. Because why ward this if you're going bot lane?
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm going bot lane.
And
I
if
think I
you're,
was just kind of tilted mid.
yeah, I do feel you. Like for you, you're in a bad lane. You just want to get out of this bad lane, which is a good idea. I mean, Viktor's okay at roaming. And lane's in an okay spot. It's just like this wasn't necessary. Like bot's pushed in right now. Like you really can't get a kill here. Luckily, Morg follows you. You guys might be able to pick her off, but again, she's ahead, so it's still kind of risky. Gangplank's blind. Oh, he's blind. He's sorry. Okay. But yeah, like this roam bot was just kind of useless. Roaming's
Right.
fine. Just make sure you do it at the right time. If their bot lane was pushed up and your wave is neutral or pushing in, then yeah, you can go bot, look for a punish. Worst case, you don't get a kill and you go back to mid, catch the wave, right? But because like this is just wasted time, and now you're kind of screwing over your team because they're trying to rotate up to here, and you could have been mid for this, but instead you're clearing the bot wave. Here we go. Good scuttle. I mean, I can't really talk much about macro stuff here just because it's solo queue, but it makes no sense to be mid here as like a team perspective. Nocturne dives, Jesus Christ, Logula. It's like the reason why it's called NARAM and why it's a meme to NARAM is because MF is getting so much resources right now, right? That's one you to make sure. I mean, luckily your mid lane can. It's not really. Usually it's not up to them, but like if the team starts grouping mid this early, if you have no real pressure, I mean, right now you guys can get a turret, which is cool and all, but you never want to group up this early. If your team's 5-manning mid this early in the game, unless you guys are really far ahead, or if you have a really good team fight comp, you should just go into a side lane and keep farming. Because this is how you fall behind. You know? You're sharing gold and XP with 3 other people. Kaiser
Right.
finally see Nocturne grab the wave bot. Good for him. Although typically it's not jungle. It's either mid, top, or ADC. Typically it's ADC, but or top. There's a TP. See what you're building? Yeah, you're good. You got your perfect hex score. Let's see what you go into next.
Probably looting.
Okay, boots. Yeah, boots is perfect. Yeah, that's a good buy. As actually what I was hoping you would get. I like that. I don't know if they still have it. Let me see. Victor's non-periodic spells applied to 20% slowed enemies. Okay, yeah. So I have to check OP to like what people are running on him, but I do know on paper Leandri's is one of the most gold efficient items on Victor.
Okay, that makes
It's because he gets the extra slow. Like Leandri's when they're slow does double damage.
yeah,
Victor can get that slow without having to buy or allies.
right.
Yeah. So on paper it sounds good, but I don't know if that's actually what people are building. If people do rush Ludens, then keep doing that. Or in this case, I'd say maybe get a stopwatch and then go into something else. Yep, go for drag. I mean, I think we can just stop here. But like in lane though,
All
you
right.
have to be more aware and you have to think more critically of what you want in lane, what they want in
Okay.
lane, and how you're gonna get what you want and how you're gonna deny what they want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because in that lane it just seemed so like mindless. It seemed like both
Right.
sides were just perma pushing and just focused so hard on last hitting. That's where practicing last hitting, you can focus more on the other stuff. Once CSing gets easy, you don't have to focus on it anymore. And then you can use that 200 IQ brain power on other things.
Okay.
Now let's go into questions, because that's gonna be the end of the VOD review. Or I'll keep it open in case you have questions pertaining to this game. But
Um. Yeah, like how do I know when to set up a freeze in the mid lane? Just like any 3 minions, or
if you were
like, cause I'm
playing,
really bad at counting like the minions as they're like fighting.
oh, okay, so you more of like how to develop a freeze.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got you on this one, Chief. So when the very first wave, right? Wave one, boom,
Right.
straight down the middle, right? If neither player touches it, it's RNG of which way is gonna slow push. Um, but a good way is if you want it to push into you, you last hit as late as you can. Don't worry about this just yet, but keep it in mind. It's called voiding minion
Right.
autos. Let's say you have one caster here, right, and one melee here, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, and this is an enemy melee. And your caster is killing it, right? And let's say there's like all these other minions, right? You see this minion is getting low, right? So you're getting ready to last hit it. You're gonna
Right.
wait to actually wait, like, cause if you like, let's say your auto does 100 damage, right? And if
Okay.
you hit, and let's say both of these minions are at 100 health, right? If you auto this minion right now and kill it, you're gonna have a minion with 100 health stay, right? So, and that's how it can slow push into your opponent, which is usually what you don't want. So if you have 100 damage, you don't want to CS it perfectly at 100. You want to let it get lower, like let's say 20. So it dies more naturally, right? Because if a wave dies
Right.
naturally, it's almost exactly even. And so you want to start, it's called voiding minion autos, because you want to wait until the minion auto that would have killed it normally if you weren't there is in the air. Like when it's traveling, that's when you want to kill it. So it's almost as if you never hit it, so you didn't really affect the lane. Because this minion, the auto that would have killed it was already on the way. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so that you ensure you have there's no outside pressure that's helping the wave push out if you're trying to freeze. Um, that's if it's like dead even on the first wave. Normally, people in low elo like to start auto attacking immediately. Like both of you did that this lane. When they start auto
Right.
attacking, you can just last hit normally. Just do your normal last hitting. As long as you're only hitting one auto per minion, you should be fine. And because they're constantly autoing the minions, they're gonna get a minion advantage. So like after the first wave, it starts 6 and 6. When your wave reaches 0, they have like 2 left over. Wave collides here. Now they have 8 minions, you have 6. You keep last hitting, and
Right.
then boom, you get like here, they have like 3 or 4 minions, and you have 0. And then the wave collides right here. This is a freeze. And
Okay.
then to keep a freeze is just match the opponent's pressure. If the opponent is last hitting, you last hit. If they try to clear the wave, you try to clear the wave -4, right? You want to keep 4. Because
Okay.
if you completely clear the wave, it's just going to full reset back to here.
Right.
Another good way is if you have more wave clear than them, a good way is to develop a slow push into them and then let it bounce back. And mid lane, that's really strong. Because let's say, like in this game, I'm not sure which one you bought first, but let's say you bought Corrupting Potion first, right?
Yeah, I started clicking pop.
Perfect. That works perfectly for this example, right? And let's say you're in a matchup where you have better wave clear. What you want to do is start auto attacking the minions early, so that it starts to slow push, right? If they try to match you on auto attacks, since you have more wave clear, you can use an ability shove the wave, right? And what you want to do is you want to slow push. You don't want to just insta crash it. That's really bad. You want to slow push it. So after the first wave,
Okay.
2-0, right? Next wave, 4-0. And then on the third wave, the cannon wave, it's important. When the cannon minion comes out, you want to shove the wave as hard as you can because you have more wave clear. They can't contest it. You push in the wave, it hits turret, you walk back, you get a free recall. You buy Dark Seal, come back to lane, and because you pushed the wave outwards, in just by nature, it's going to push back towards you.
Okay.
And then once it starts slow pushing back to you, they didn't have time to reset. You have a freeze, and you're an item up, right? So you just stomped lane. Like they can't do anything. They're screwed. If they leave lane, again, more wave clear. You shove them in. They lose a wave. Resets, rinse and repeat, and you just kill them over and over in gold by just pure wave manipulation.
Okay.
So be just more aware and try to think more critically about laning phase, because right now that laning phase just seemed like neither person had a plan in mind of what they wanted.
Right.
And so it just kind of went purely off of who could. I mean, in this case, it was just who gets ganked first loses, right? Which
Yeah.
you could have played around, but it's whatever. And because she got the gank first, then you lose. You never want that to be the case. You want to put the lane in a state where you can benefit from it.
Okay.
Have any other questions?
I think I'm good.
Think you're good? Okay.
Yeah.
We do some closing remarks and we can get you out of here. I won't hold you hostage any longer. Close out of that. Okay. So, back to this. One last good mental farewell before we call it quits. For when it comes to just improving, there's plenty of resources online that you can
Right.
watch or even like read like on Reddit, and then even like my Discord, like Legends Coaching. Here's a free coaching resource you can use. One's called Summoner School on Reddit. They're pretty big. Like there's so much resources available to you. Why not use them? You know, they're free.
Right.
I mean most of them. I mean I don't like pro guides and skill cap. You can use them if you want. I think they're trash, but because all they do is teach low elo players how to trap other low elo players. They heavily rely on gimmicks that only work in low elo. They do cover decent fundamentals, but it's like, they're really gimmicky. But like what we can do is you can watch high elo games, try to copy them. You can watch guides on YouTube, and then go into the subreddit, see what people are saying about certain champions, you know.
Okay.
And then also pick someone and stick with it, and pick someone easy, because the only way you're gonna learn the fundamentals is if you're comfortable with your champion and if they don't require mechanics. Because the second you start playing something like, let's say, a Kali, you're focused so much on your combos that you're not going to be paying attention to the wave or like when to trade or, CSing. So that's why, like, I mean, top lane Garen, mid lane Annie, bot lane is like, I mean, ADC is like Ashe, and then jungle's Warwick. The reason why I recommend those champions is because they're so basic. You don't even have to think about their kits, right? You can focus purely on wave management, fundamentals, trading, the good stuff, and you can work on that. Then once you get comfortable on that stuff, then you can start incorporating the mechanics with better or better champions and like more difficult champions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would recommend is get a second account, and just practice Annie. Don't worry about ganking. Don't worry about roaming. Don't even worry about winning or losing. Just purely develop good lane states and get good at developing good lane states and get good at punishing your opponent. If you can consistently pull ahead in lane, then you're good to go. Then you can start worrying about the other stuff and develop that later. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I have, I think, for you today. Do you have any other questions before we head out?
Nah.
I guess now it's time for the big boy mental. Um, I believe everyone has the potential to hit quote unquote high elo, at least diamond. Anyone can get diamond as long as you're willing to put in the effort for it, right? So, I mean, if you truly want to improve, I would, like watch this VOD again later when you have the time, and then, you know, really pull through on that second account. And then, unfortunately, you can't play for fun and improve at the same time. You have to kind of choose one. I would
Right.
heavily recommend purely like spend one day purely practicing. Next day play to have fun. That's like your break day. That's your cheat day is playing to have fun. Um, but you really need to commit to improving and then try you need to get out of your comfort zone if you want to improve. You can't do the same cookie cutter thing every lane and expect the outcome to change. You have to try new things. You got to be adventurous. That's why against second account where wins don't matter is helpful because I believe in everyone. I think you could easily, I mean, this season for sure hit gold. And if you keep practicing, you could probably hit high gold, low platinum this season, and then eventually diamond, like in the next season or so. As long as you're fully committed to actually improving, anyone can improve. It's just the willingness of you, of if you're actually going to commit to it.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
wish you the best. And again, you don't have to. I'm not saying like, oh, you're bad, like you don't care about the game. I was like, it's people. It's a game. People like to have fun with it. But if you are truly invested and dedicated to improving, you should commit 100% to improving, not 50-50. Like try to have fun and improve at the same time, because that won't work. That's why Annie's boring, but she teaches you really good fundamentals. Okay, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thanks, man.
No problem, bro. Take care, bro.
You too.
Yeah.